In the world of Dick Tracy, the villains are just as legendary as the detective himself. Twisted faces, crooked deals, and crime ridden streets. But today we're talking about one of the shadiest gangsters in the bunch, Lips Manlis, the sleazy double crossing mobster who ran the city until he didn't. Who was Lips Manlis? And what made him a key part of Dick Tracy's rogue gallery? Let's dive into the comics, the 90s movies, the toys, and more in this episode of Playgrounds Chronicles. Created by Chester Gould, Lips Manlis made his first appearance in the Dick Tracy comic strip during the golden age of crime comics. While he wasn't as freakishly deformed as some of Tracy's later villains, Lips was still a memorable crook, an oily, smooth-talking racketeer who ran gambling joints and speakeasies. As the name suggests, Lips was known for his big mouth, both figuratively and literally. A talker, a deal maker, and a double crosser. He relied on charm and connections rather than brute force. But in Tracy's world, crime never pays, and Lips eventually found himself behind bars, or worse, taking a bath. Flashing forward to 1990, when Warren Beatty's Dick Tracy film brought a live-action version of Lip Manlis to the screen. Played by Paul Sorvino, the version of Lips wasn't just a small-time crook, he was a full-on crime boss. Running the city's illegal gambling and racketeering, Lips had power, money, and breathless Mahoney, played by Madonna. But as any criminal crime boss knows, staying on top isn't easy, especially when Big Boy Caprice, played by Al Pacino, has his eyes on your throne. And let's just say, Lips didn't last long. In one of the film's most unforgivable scenes, Lips Manlis is force-fed oysters by Big Boy, symbolizing his downfall before his quite literal elimination. It's brutal, it's opaque, and it's cemented Lips as one of the most tragic gangsters in the Dick Tracy mythos. While Lips Manlis is best remembered for his comics and the 90s film, he popped up in a few other places. Various Dick Tracy's merchandise lines featuring figures and playsets based on characters, and he made appearance in animated adaptations of the detective's adventures. Let's pause here and take a look at some of the figures. All right, hope you all are enjoying the information about one of the coolest characters that didn't have that much scene time. But if you go back into the history of comic books and stuff with Dick Tracy, Lips Manlis is a pretty cool guy. For a villain, but I digress. So we get some Playmate toys coming out here from the Dick Tracy world. This is Lips Manlis right here. I love the Dick Tracy toys. I think they're fantastic. I think they still hold up today in the realm of just how cool they are when you find them and see them. They're relatively easy to pick up and cheap. However, there were a couple of things that were missing from the world of Dick Tracy's movies. They made a Dick Tracy cartoon line, a toy line out of something that was kind of an adult movie, kind of. I also really want them to redo Dick Tracy. Oh, God. And if they redid the figures in the old style, in like a 6-inch figure, like an ultimate style, oh, I'd buy every one of them. Oh, it'd be so good. They'd be so good. Somebody do that. But anyway, this is just the Lips Manlis figure. So for articulation and stuff, they just go around, the hands rotate, head moves a little bit, legs go. I mean, to have them sit, you have to do the whole kind of lean back kind of going. So this Lips Manlis, as you've seen in some pictures earlier, he came with weighted boots, and that's because he took the bath in the show. He does come with a pistol right here. It's just, this was given to almost every one of them. So you'll notice mine doesn't have its feet. It doesn't have its cement boots. Well, that's because this thing exists. And so all I really wanted was the scene about the bath. So this was created. I did not make this. Somebody made it for me. It's actually broken off onto the hinges here, which is sad. I need to fix this. I need to just get like a little drill or something to get that in. But this is a custom bath from Big Boy. So mine is inside of it. And if you flip it up, oh, it's not the bath, Big Boy, not the bath. Look at that. He's in the bath, and that is real concrete. that's in there. This thing weighs an absolute ton, honestly. Like I said, this is coming off, but what it should do is sit just like that. And so for mine to stay upright, I put the boots on him inside of this for the guy who did it for me. And so I just had to buy a little cheap $2. I think I found him at a yard sale, honestly, and I've just had him loose. But in my Dick Tracy display, the bath is prominently displayed. And it's one of the first things you see the villains do as a bad thing to take over Lips's business. But we got real chains that are concreted on, and it does shut, and then it could just fall, but I'm not dropping it because it's real heavy. But this is Lips Manlis the toy. This is the bath. How cool is that? Not many of those in the world, I bet. Only here on the Hodgepodge channel. Surprisingly, Lips doesn't get as much love as other Dick Tracy villains like Flat Top or the Brow, but he remains a crucial piece of the puzzle. One of the first major mobsters to fall, setting the stage for the crime war between Dick Tracy and Big Boy. So why does Lips Manlis still matter today? He represents the old school Prohibition era gangsters that made Dick Tracy such a thrilling crime story. While other villains leaned into the grotesque, Lips was all about power, wealth, and corruption. He showed that in Tracy's world, even the smoothest talker could be taken down in an instant. Whether you remember him from the comics, the movie, or as a Paul Sorvino deep cut, Lips Manlis remains one of Dick Tracy's most fascinating underworld figures. So what do you think? Does Lips Manlis deserve more recognition in the Dick Tracy universe? And who's your favorite Dick Tracy villain? Drop a comment below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more episodes of the Playground Chronicles. Until next time, keep your fedora sharp and your crime stories even sharper.